In this tutorial, we will start to review our traditional Hello World program and in the process learn more about the basic Struts 2 tag elements. These are the Struts 2 tags that we have just used in our Hello World example. So let's revisit and review them. Here we are back in Eclipse. So we start by looking at our web.xml and we see that our landing page is index.html. So this is index.html and we see we've got an HTTP refresh with a redirect to URL menu action. Now this is an HTML tag. This is not a Struts 2 tag. So this redirects to menu action. Menu action is a forward action to menu/menu.jsp, and it is in menu.jsp that we use the Struts 2 URL tag, which redirects to the action hello world/name here. Now we also get HTML hyperlink tags, but they often require us to include redundant information, and the HTML tag cannot easily access the dynamic data provided by the framework. So here we see a very common use case in web application, which is linking to other pages, or in our case, actions. Here, the action hello world.name is in our hello world.xml, and we see that it's another forward entry that redirects to the name entry.jsp page. Going back to the URL action, for more information on the Struts 2 URL tag, please refer to the URL documentation. Now let's move on to the form tag, and this we will find in the name entry.jsp. Here we can see the Struts 2 form tag. Each of the Struts 2 form tags has numerous attributes to mimic the normal HTML form tag attributes. To create the outer shell of the form, we use the Struts 2 form tag. The action attribute sets the action name that we submit our values to. The Struts 2 text field tag provides an input HTML tag of tag text, and the submit tag creates a submit button. Now let's have a look at what we actually see when we run it in this form. Instead of in Eclipse, let's have a look in an actual browser. This is the Hello World form. And if we look at the form that's created in HTML, note how Struts 2 created a table inside the form to position the form elements. The Struts 2 text field tag created an HTML input tag of type text and also an input type of submit for our submit button. Now, once we enter our name, it will be submitted to Hello World action. So let's see what happens here. We say baby shark, and it displays the property and the name. So let's go back to Eclipse. The Hello World action forwards on success to hello world.jsp. So let's have a look at hello world.jsp. Here we see the Struts property tag that returns the value of the message in the message store. And here we see the Struts property tag that returns the value of the custom greeting. And both these we actually set in our Java code. This is our Hello World Java, is our message store. We created a message store. We set the custom greeting. And let's look at the message store. It says hello Struts to user. So going back to the browser, this is the message store. This is the most common use of the property tag. It's to get the value returned by calling a public get method of the action class, and then to include that value in the HTML returned to the browser. One very useful feature of the Struts 2 property tag is that it will automatically convert the most common data types, such as int, double, or boolean, to their string equivalents. And this concludes our overview of all the tags used in Hello World. See you on the next tutorial.